Been a great week.
Well, there you can see the field of 11 that are in the competition today here in Wrocław, and well, we've got a variety of achievers, and we'll go and meet them in a moment. There you can see the Chinese competitor, and not every competition has a Chinese super heavyweight, so very interesting to see how he goes. We begin with the first of two Polish competitors, Konel Szekil, the man who was fifth in Europe 2012 and 2013. Udashin for the Ukraine, runner-up in this year's European Championships. Daniel Dowenga, the first of, or the second I should say, of two Polish challengers, a silver medalist at the under-23 class back in 2009. Yevgeny Zanashek represents Belarus. He's 26 years of age, bronze medalist a couple of seasons ago at the European Championships. For Egypt, Atia Mohamed Ehsan, 29 years of age, 7th in the World Championships in Antalya in 2010, his best so far. Ruslan Albagov, the Olympic bronze medalist in London just over 12 months ago. And for Hungary, it's Peter Nagy, a familiar face, this 27-year-old, who this season finished just out of the medals in 4th place, as you can see, at the Universiade. Earlier today, Iran got its first medal. There's no Behdad Salimi, the Olympic and world champion. Instead, Bahadur Mulay, a 21-year-old runner-up in the Universiade, he takes their place today. Alexei Lovchev represents Russia, runner-up in the under-23 Europeans last season. And China, the national games champion in September, Ai Yunan, 22 years of age. And completing the lineup from Brazil, Fernando Saraiva Reis, 17th back in Paris in the World Championships, but they're after new Brazilian records in the space of the next 2 hours. And there you can see Behdad Salimi, the record holder and past winner in Paris in the World Championships and in Antalya. And we are just about 5 minutes away now from the first lift.
Gdzie jest ta moja Ukraina? No chodź, chodź, chodź. Proszę, brawa dla kobiety. Saja, znacie? Tam są takie ruchy, pokazujemy. Jakbyście szapkowali, czy da.
Well, this is the scene in the back room here in this super heavyweight class. There's Peter Nagy of Hungary, Ai Yunan for China, the national games winner.
Got 140 kilos on the bar, warming up.
I później taka modlitwa, ty się modlisz, żeby Ukraina wygrała, ja żeby Polska, dobra? Okay? Czyli
very comfortable indeed.
Good speed. Interesting to see whether he can replicate and improve on that when he comes out on the stage. Two Polish lifters, Konel Szekil and also Daniel Dowenga. Just a footnote on the competition earlier in the day. One piece of information we didn't really pass on about Marcin Dowenga. Injured, actually, and therefore a really legitimate reason for his poor performance.
Yeah, just received a tweet. Didn't look at my phone during the competition, but it's been notified that he pulled an abdominal muscle in the week prior to this championships, which is a real shame.
Yeah, to be honest, Michaela, perhaps it would have been wiser for him not to participate, but, you know, the emotion, the occasion, just couldn't keep away.
It's hard when you've been working towards something for so long, and when you're being at World Championships in your home country as well, the last thing you want to do is pull out.
So just over a minute to go. Welcome once again to the Centennial Hall. This, of course, the last time. It's the men's super heavyweights. As you see, a very stern-looking Artem Udashin, a man who knows this weight category very, very well. He's never won it, but he's come close, and he is one of our 11 contenders to take this prestigious final total. Michaela Breeze alongside myself, David Goldstrom, and we can hardly hear ourselves think here with the amount of noise in the hall. But it's going to settle down in about 30 seconds from now as we get into the competition. The whole of this World Championships has been managed, staged, organised under the stewardship of Simon Kowalski, the relatively new president of the Polish Weightlifting Federation, a great lifter in his own time, Olympic silver medalist, multi-world and European title winner, and one of the most humble men you could actually meet. He's been an absolute delight to be with over the week, and somehow he seems to be fresh and alert to everything, and he deserves a huge pat on his back, as well as the whole of his organisation team for the job they've done here. So this the scene in the backstage warm-up room. We're ready to go for the plus 105 kilo super heavyweight class, the 15th and last title that's at stake in these World Championships. Sit back with Commonwealth Games champion Michaela Breeze and myself, David Goldstrom. We've got our fingers crossed that this is going to be a real humdinger to finish us off here. And the first of the big guys on the stage represents Poland. Kornel Szczecikel, and weighed in at 105.37 kilos. And that compares with almost 170 kilos of Artem Udashin of the Ukraine. First attempt, 172 kilos on the bar. Well, it's a good start, but the realism is, Michaela, that both of the Polish lifters are really outsiders in this class.
Yes, they are, but nonetheless, he's coming out here to do his best to try and improve on previous records. And that was a very aggressive, attacking lift, lots of speed on the bar, very fast into the receiving position. Great start.
Yeah, what we need is lots of really good first lifts here. The highest entered total, Ruslan Albagov of Russia, 200 kilos. And of course, you've just seen the lowest total, 172. But such is the range of these men, you can't actually say it's going to be close or tight or anything. This could go all sorts of ways, this competition. And this is the class where you see every sort of physique.
Yes, it is. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, carrying excess weight is not going to be of much benefit. Obviously, these guys want to be big, they want to be stronger, they want to be more powerful. So I think, you know, we're looking at lifters here that will range in all shapes and sizes. But ultimately, those that are most compact and carrying the most muscles should do the best.
Second of the Polish lifters, Daniel Dowenga, 24 years of age, much less experienced. And experience really counts in this particular competition. 8th in Europe a couple of seasons ago when he managed to snatch over 180 kilos. So he might well get there again this time. Over half a minute. Good start.
It's good to see him in the competition. His brother went earlier this afternoon. It wasn't so successful. Really extended through the middle, very fast underneath the bar, was dropping as the bar was still coming up. Excellent to see.
Interesting to see which of these men is the most athletic in this competition. And Szczecikel coming out for his second attempt, 5 kilo increase. Well, 177, this is just a kilo short of his personal best. Needs to stand still, which he does eventually, and the buzzer goes and the white lights come up and the Polish fans are happy.
Well, again, in a very aggressive lift, rather than waiting at the bottom in the squat position to steady himself, he drives out aggressively, has a chance then to recover the lift. You see that was slightly in front. The speed he came out, managed to save it.
If you were tackling the snatch for the first time, Michaela, how do you sort of begin and how do you progress to ultimately master this discipline?
Well, I think with any beginner to the sport, it's important to get used to the movements with a very, very light weight. So an empty bar, a broomstick. For those watching back home want to have a go and get yourself a broomstick and see if you can get into a deep squat position, feet flat on the floor, sitting nice and straight with a bar overhead. If you can do that, then we've got something to work with. From overhead squats into snatch balance, which is what these lifters will all do in the warm-up room, bar resting on the back of the shoulders, and it's a drop and a catch into that fast receiving position. I think a lot of coaches make the mistake of teaching a power snatch before they teach a squat snatch. The problem with that is then the lifter almost has a fear of dropping into that squat position at speed, and that's the key.
So why is this lift so difficult?
I don't think it is. I think it's the same with anything. When you're learning a new skill, if you're taught correctly, if you're shown how to do it, you can pick up the basics, you can pick it up fairly straightforwardly. I coach kids from age 11 upwards, and they don't have any issues picking this up because they're taught how to do it safely and effectively from the word go. As I said, the biggest problem is a lifter that's been taught how to power snatch never really finds where that deep squat position is.
But it still takes courage to put your head and body under the bar.
Of course it does. I mean, the heaviest weights I snatched 100 kilos. That bar only came maybe an inch higher than the position I actually caught it in. So you have to be confident and very, very fast into a dynamic receiving position.
So 179 on the bar, and Shaquille looking to make this 3 out of 3. So this would be for a 1 kilo personal best. Oh, it's running out of... Oh no.
Well, I have visions of elbows going and shoulders going there. Well, he's a very strong guy, and luckily he's got good muscle bulk around those elbows and shoulders to protect them.
Yeah, this will be worth having a look at again. Where was the bar going to end up?
Not. Watch it for the first few seconds. Drives out, needs to stand still. Oh, goodness me. When you've got that kind of weight overhead, so easy for things to go wrong.
Well, as you might recognize from the tailored music for each of the lifters, this is to announce the arrival of the Egyptian challenger, Atiyah Mohamed Hassan. He's been as good as 5th in the world. That was back in 2009 in Goyang. But one or two Egyptians we've seen this week have really performed with credit. So hopefully we've got another one here. 180 at his best, 190. Steadies, drives, completes.
Well, for a big man, that's a very agile position he's getting into, able to change his direction at speed. Very dynamic again, catching it in a really solid position underneath the bar. Driving up with his chest, very nice, straight position, good lifting.
Goes into second place. Why does he go into second place? Because of the man in the B group who lifted earlier this morning, Haik Hakobian, who snatched 186 kilos. So we're not quite there yet. And this is Ai Unan, the National Games winner in September from Shenyang in China. And he's got a personal best of 199. That's what the coach told me, although he did 195 in the National Games. Terrific speed.
Yeah, terrific speed. Just worried that he's throwing his shoulders back as it passes his knees rather than driving with the legs. Let's just have a look at the replay. If his shoulders go back, then it's going to put a swing on the bar. He's strong enough to steady it. There, shoulders a long way back. Bar's going to kick out then off his legs. Not a problem on that weight. Let's hope it's not a problem later in the competition.
The Chinese lifter weighing in at 147.23. Given those stats from the national games, actually, the start at 180 would seem to be rather conservative, but let's see how it goes. And now, representing Brazil, Fernando Saraiva Reis. Now, down in 17th place in the World Championships in Paris before the London Games. He made 5 out of his 6 lifts on that occasion, and he's starting here at 182. Talked to the coach a few minutes ago before we got started, Michaela, and he's looking for this boy to do 190, which would be a Brazilian record. And immediately the 190 becomes very difficult to attain.
Well, it does. His starting position was very good, chest very high. He looked like he was in a great position to drive up. And it all went wrong from there.
Hails from, sorry, I beg your pardon, hails from Sao Paulo.
Threw his shoulders back, then he jumped backwards and he left the bar out in front.
I think he's going to have to come in again, because unless they put the weight up on the bar, everybody else wants a weight with at least 3 kilos more.
Yeah, the bigger guys are going to struggle a little bit more to recover. It's going to have taken a lot out of them.
Well, our Brazilian contender has to contend with this, as you can probably hear in the background. He's got a minute, so certainly time's no issue. Now, what's he got to do, Michaela, to make the correction?
Simply drive up straight, follow with that chest, rather than leaning back and throwing shoulders back. If they go back, his hips are going to go forward, and that's when we start swinging the bar. A look better. Good job.
Yeah, I can see him taking at least a 5 kilo increase for the next one.
Well, definitely, that doesn't look comfortable. I don't, there's no reason. I think had he nailed that on the first attempt, we'd be having a different conversation right now, saying how we think he's capable of 190. So.
Yeah, he might go for 190. You never know. He's got time though to catch his breath and recover a little bit here, because there are a couple of men who want 185, so I'm sure he won't be coming out on 183, that's for sure. The Chinese lifter, Ai Yunnan, posted 185, and Daniel Dawenga at 184 kilos. Now this is a 7 kilo increase for Daniel. Of course, part of the famous Dawenga family, brothers Robert and Marcin.
I wouldn't have liked to have been parents cooking for these guys.
Right, this is a kilo more than his personal best. Second attempt.
Oh, no way is he going to get that. Massive press out on the right arm, shake of the head, he knows it.
Podejście niestety niezaliczone.
Well, like his brother earlier today. That was a much slower lift, more in the upper body rather than explosive, powerful legs. There wasn't much of a change in speed through the middle of the lift.
Yeah, that you can just see, very good picture. Saw the big press out on the right arm there very clearly. Married to Justina, and they're expecting their first baby, which we understand is a girl. So another occasion for the family to see Dad at work on this stage here. And 184, nobody wants 184. And Fernando Saraiva Reis of Brazil has put the bar up to 188, or posted his third attempt at 188. Who knows, he might put another couple of kilos on yet, because that's only a 6-kilo increase. There's the early stats there. Just worth remembering that the man from the B group, Haik Hakobian from Armenia, still leading the class at this moment with his 186 kilos from the B group earlier in the day. So the way we're going, he's going to take 1 or 2 scalps, at least in the first half of the competition. Wasn't so strong in the clean and jerk, so that's where he's vulnerable, or at least his total is vulnerable. So Daniel, third and final attempt. This would push him up from 6th, which is where he is now, to 2nd. Excellent. Always like it when a lifter comes back from a disappointment like that.
Very frustrating as a lifter to have actually had the weight overhead and stood with it, only to have it failed on a press out.
Now you coach. You had your eye out for a super heavyweight you could bring to the Worlds.
Mohamed Essa, Egypt, his next lifter.
Surely must be someone in Great Britain.
Well, I'm looking more in Wales right now, so if anybody's in and around the Aberdare area, give us a shout. Breeze's Gym in Aberdare. I'm definitely looking for to try and build the team. We've got a few lifters that are working hard at the moment.
But you're missing a super heavyweight.
We're missing a super heavyweight that can compete on this level, yeah.
Peter Nash competed in the London Olympic Games, finished 11th there. He's usually a pretty consistent lifter, by which I mean he usually makes good percentages, at least 4 out of 6, sometimes 5. Well, I wish I hadn't said that, because that's not the sort of start we expect from him. Yeah, he's a solid 190, 192 man. So, technically, let's have a look.
Not the best angle to be looking at, but he's just leaving the bar out in front. Why is he doing that? Taking the weight on his arms as it passes the knees. It's going to pull him onto his toes.
Cleaning the bar. If you were with us at the for the 105 competition a little earlier in the afternoon, you might have noticed that they actually changed the bar. I had a word with Moira Larson, the technical controller, and she said it was unusual, but the bar was actually sticking. It wasn't spinning.
That's interesting. The bar has got bearings in it, so it will spin. So when a lifter has hold of it, as they then change direction, drop underneath. They don't let go of the bar, but the bar will rotate. And it's important that the bar moves so you don't have wrist injuries.
So, Mohamed Essien, Egypt. Two out of 2. Well, I could see him getting to 190.
Yeah, Yeah, I can. His first attempt was a bit sharper than that one. I think he needs to open up a bit more. That's good, solid, got plenty of height on the bar. Didn't even need to catch it at the very bottom. Easy lifting.
If you can hear the background music, can't quite match this to the appearance of the Chinese lifter, but it is Ai Yunan, 185. One thing we noticed on the first attempt was the speed of movement on the bar.
Oh, right elbow. I think he's going to get that though, 2-1 maybe. Three whites.
All three. Sam Copper, the president of the jury for this last competition. Central referee is Jesmond Karuna from Malta, supported by Georgeta Ion from Romania and Tapsia Mendikan from Kazakhstan.
Well, based on that replay, I stand by my observation. There was movement in the right elbow. Only a fraction though. Got away with it.
So Naj, uncharacteristically, a first mistake. Now, surely not a second time. Has to do this. There we go. So expensive, though, the loss of a first attempt, it really limits your third attempt, potentially. But perhaps less so with the super heavyweights. I mean, these guys could be a bit more extravagant than most.
Yeah, they can be, but that was a basic, fundamental mistake he's making there. As soon as the bar came off the floor, it went out and around his knees.
Well, the Brazilian isn't going for a national record. He's going for a 6 kilo increase here to 188. So they've obviously had a chat and said, well, this is what we aspire to, but we can't do it today. That said, in Paris 2 years ago, he totaled 393, which is pretty modest. He was obviously not in the A group, and his best snatch was 176. So this is 12 kilos better 2 years later. If he gets it, of course. One out of three, not what was ordered by the head coach, or indeed the president.
Just throwing the shoulders back again. Disappointing.
Well, at least the Brazilians can actually look forward to. We've seen 2 or 3 of them, and there is a real chance that they will have a reasonable team to represent them at Rio. I mean, they sort of face the same sort of difficulties that the British team had putting a team together for London.
I don't know, I don't think they're in quite as bad state we were, but I think they're going to have a few lifters that will at least be able to contend in the A groups at the Olympics.
So, 188 the bar for Mohamed Hassan, but sadly he's lost that one as well, and at the moment left in third place. And this is pretty interesting now, because Akobian, the man from the B group, now really looking like taking quite a few scalps here.
That's right, he got away with it on the previous attempt where he caught the weight high and then sat in. Here, didn't sit in fast enough there. He should have been in a lot quicker. He needed to be a lot quicker with that kind of weight.
Okay, the bar goes to 190 kilos, and now we have the first attack on that leading snatch from the B group. That was 186. This is 4 kilos more, and it announces the arrival on the stage of Yevgeny Janasek for Belarus. 26 years of age, weighed in at 150.62 kilos. Very steady at the bottom there.
Had to fight to stop that one going out the back door.
Did a fair job at the London Olympics. He made all 6 lifts and contributed 196 kilos to his total of 230 at the Olympics.
Yevgeny Janasek, приготовиться.
So this for 3 out of 3, and he's taking the 5 kilo lift here, which is going to take him on to 190, and it's going to take him into first place. I should say, Unan, 147.23 kilos, challenging Yevgeny Janasek, who has the lead at the moment, weighed in at 150 kilos. So this man just a little bit lighter.
Jest zaliczony. 191 poproszę. 191 Aleksiej Łowczew, Russia. First attempt, pierwsze podejście.
So still 2 men, in fact 3, who've yet to take their first lift, and another one of those about to start. The bar at 191 kilos. It was announced for the Russian Lovchev. Here he comes. Runner-up last season in the Under-23 European Championships, and also a former Universiade bronze medalist, but then he was lifting at 105 kilos. Now this man is at 129 kilos. This for the lead.
That was a really good first attempt there, sitting him really deep into that squat position. Very comfortable overhead.
Yeah, if you go back to the past winners of this super heavyweight category, when it was established in 1998, Shemerkin won it in 98 and 99, but then after that there have been 11 editions, and 6 of those have gone to Iran, the likes of Hossein Rezazadeh and more recently Bedad Salimi. Pinanaj out for his 3rd attempt. Remember, he missed the first one. Well, it's a fair recovery, but he's ended up, Michaela, pretty well where we're used to seeing him, you know, around about the 191, 192 kilo mark. So he hasn't really improved, and you've got to say that that's really down to the fact that he missed that first attempt. He hasn't been able to build on from that 2nd attempt to the 3rd attempt.
Well, if you're going to be nailing personal bests at this kind of level, you've got to be executing 3 out of 3.
Okay. Well, you want to know about super heavyweights? Here's one of the really big boys. Artem Udashin for the Ukraine. 169 kilos of him. But he's pretty useful on his day. Runner-up in the Europeans this year. Former world silver and bronze medalist.
No lift. Podejście niezaliczone.
Just breathing a little heavily as he goes off stage there.
Well, the aim when we're lifting here in the snatch is to try and keep the bar as close to you as possible. No disrespect, but he's going to have to swing that bar. Didn't quite swing it enough. Catching it out in front.
Drugie podejście.
Szanowni Państwo, podobno nie udało się Was pokazać za pierwszym razem. To jeszcze raz prośba od telewizji, podnieście ręce w górę.
What's your view about the
Tym razem poklaszczemy troszkę. Proszę
range of weight? Someone like Udoshin, weighing 169 kilos.
Well,
it's not a healthy weight, is it?
Personal view, David, and I'm sure people would disagree with this, but there's no need for him to be that heavy. That, you know, the tummy he's carrying on him there is just impeding the line of the bar. I cannot see in any way, shape or form how that is going to benefit him. Yes, he's big, yes, he's the heaviest lifter in the group, and yeah, he's lifting one of the heaviest weights, but I'm sure if he trimmed down a bit, it would go in his favour.
Oh, well, the speed of movement on the bar was good.
No lift, podejście niezaliczone.
Just can't keep the bar close. You can't have a good line of the bar with that
No i
physique.
nie mam
I'm afraid.
wyjścia, muszę zapowiadać raz jeszcze. Artyom Udahin, Ukraine,
Came close to an Olympic medal in Beijing, but was beaten for the bronze by the great Skabatis of Latvia by 6 kilos on that particular occasion.
195.
Victor Skabatis, one of the most popular super heavyweights and very solid achiever.
Dashian's putting his third attempt up to 195. Just going to bring out Mulai of Iran.
Skabatis, who won this title in 2007, that was in Chiang Mai on the eve of the Beijing Olympic Games, and now Bahadur Mulai for Iran. Now this is going to be fascinating to watch this fight, because we had thought that Badad Salimi, the world and Olympic champion, would be here, but those internal disputes have resulted in he and 4 other top lifters being left off the squad. Junior world silver medalist of 2 seasons ago. Very square, very solid.
That's the way to do it.
He lifted pretty well this weight in the Universiade. He was runner-up in that last July in Kazan.
Fast, powerful, aggressive lifting.
So Udoshin had a little bit of time, but he's under big pressure now. His day is done. You can just see, you know, this is a man who's, as I said in the introduction, he's been a world silver medalist, he's been a world bronze medalist. All he's left with is the clean and jerk to go for. He's now 33 years of age, and how far might he be from being called time on, really? You just sense that Udoshin has maybe had his time. Janasek, Belarus, 26 years of age. Now, started on 190, going for 196. The weight he lifted in the Olympics on the way to 9th place last year. Just see the way he sat there
No coś złapał.
Well, the problem was he extended through the middle, just hesitated before dropping underneath, trying to get a bit more height on the bar with his upper body when he should have been dropping. Wasted an awful lot of time there getting underneath the bar.
Drugie podejście reprezentanta
Watch the replay. Top, there was hesitation.
Reprezentant Białorusi Jewgeni Żornasek, Brygatowic.
So Russia now, Lovchev. Still to start, the other Russian, Ruslan Albagov. Albagov, the European champion of this season and also the Olympic bronze medalist. But this is his teammate. Second attempt, 5 kilo increase.
Loads of aggression, great to see. He's really fired up for this.
Podejście zagrzenej prowadzenie w tej chwili.
Well, this is definitely a title the Russians would love to win.
7 proszę, 197. Ruslan Albagov.
Well, talking about Ruslan Albagov, he's the next man due out. Albagov, who actually posted a 200 opener, has come down from that to 197. Doesn't mean that the warm-up necessarily went wrong. It just means that he might be reacting to the state of play, because this would put him into first place straight away.
Ruslan Albagov, Russia.
Well, that's the most impressive exercise we've seen so far. Now, you're shaking your head, but I was impressed with that.
Yeah, technically not bad, just missing a bit of extension at the top. He's going to need to really drive harder with those legs to get the next couple of lifts. Just gone just a fraction more extension through the lift. But other than that, fantastic. Very dynamic, very powerful.
You're from fine, Michaela. I mean, I guess, how was it with you? You got the first attempt in and you were just that little bit more comfortable, slightly more relaxed, confidence, a little bit more?
I always started very, very close to my best, so there was never any comfort with the first lift. But yeah, you do feel, I guess, that a bit more relaxed, and you can go out there and really try and execute, knowing that you've got a lift on the board.
Janasek to respond here to that 197 success. If he gets it, Janasek, if he gets it, but he doesn't, otherwise he might have gone into the lead.
Well, in contrast, David, Janasek there, very slow, not quite the same spark that we just saw.
Well, this is fascinating now, because we've got one Russian, Alexei Lovchev, with one attempt to come. The bar's gone for him to 202. The Iranian, the young Iranian Mulai, with 2 attempts and the bar up to 200. Albagov has put the bar up to 202, but there's only 3 lifters alive at the moment. Albagov leads, Lovchev's in second place, Mulai in third, so it's these 3 at the moment dicing for the medals. Now this 200 will put the Iranian into the lead. It's a 5 kilo increase, but he weighed in at 137. Albagov at 153, Lovchev at 129. So Lovchev has the edge in terms of body weight. Well, I wanted to see a real fight, and These Iranians, I said, they've won 6 of the 11 competitions since this weight category was established, and that was pretty good.
That was a very confident lift from a young man. Really fast underneath the bar.
And you might have seen Hossein Rezazadeh, the president of the Iranian Weightlifting Federation, in the back room. He, of course, still the record holder for the clean and jerk and the total. His absent world and Olympic champion, Badad Salimi, holds the snatch world record of 214. Don't think we're going to get there today. Now, Lovchev, the bar on 200. Now, this will put him into first place if he can do it, because he's that bit lighter than the Iranian. And still Albagov with 2 to play for with his attempts. But for Lovchev, the last roll of the dice in this part of the competition for him. Superb. Asked and answered. That was very pleasing, Michaela.
It was absolutely fantastic lifting there. 3 out of 3, that's the way to do it.
So Lovchev moves up from 3rd into the lead, and the bar going up to 202 for Albagov's second attempt. But in fact, 203, because Albagov's put the bar to 205, which obliges Mulai of Orion to come in here for 203. But this would be a great little series when you consider in July in the Universiade that he lifted 196. That was really very much a tune-up competition for him. But you've also got to remember that he is only 21 years of age. So he is the least experienced, but certainly not the least talented.
You say least experienced, but phenomenally talented. Isn't he doing well?
Yeah, he is. And we need him to stay in there to keep this all alive and not let the Russians, you know, sort of run away with this. 203, well, all the way along here, these are new marks for him. But he'll be well aware of the responsibility he carries on his shoulders for the country. They've got such a good record in this super heavyweight class. What a good boy. Well, you absolutely cannot complain. 195, 200, 203, measured increases all the way. And goes into the gold medal position. Lovchev down to 2nd, Albagov only 3rd at the moment. And so now on to Ruslan Albagov. Albagov, the bar at 205, second attempt. So this for the gold medal in the snatch and a 2 kilo advantage. And there we are, Russia, another gold medal. But still, at this moment in time, Michaela, only 5 kilos between the first 3.
Some superb lifting there.
It's what Albagov chooses to do now. Can't imagine he's going to do less than 210.
The bar automatically goes to 206.
Yeah, he's never done 210. He's done 208.
The technical officials on the platform here just have a look at the bar. There's some blood on the bar.
206 na sztandze.
The loaders come out now with some white spirit.
Jakaś zmiana.
Yeah, that's Pedro Sanchez, one of the two technical controllers.
Well, this is a bit of tactics as well from the Russians. You can see the Russian coach there. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's asking for the platform to be swept as well. All of this, while all of this is going on, the clock cannot start, so he's buying his lifter a bit more time. Lifters used to, or coaches used to do this all the time. They have clamped down on it now.
And remember, when the clock does start, he's got 2 minutes because he's following himself. So that must have gained the best part. Well, it's still gaining. It's gained the best part of a minute already.
He's using a wire brush on the bar now to get rid of the excess chalk, and in doing so, that will clear most of the blood off the bar. Notice they're doing that off the platform, obviously, so they don't get the chalk on the platform. Don't want to make it slippery. It also gives the, here we are, the medical team time to strap that hand.
But he can prowl around. And then, of course, they're not going to take 206, are they? That's the other thing.
No, they'll put that up. Yeah. They could put it up twice, you know, David. They could put it up to maybe 208 and then 210. Each time they increase the weight, the clock has to stop.
There, the Iranians. He looked pretty happy, Moulay, and so he should do. You know, because that's the Iranians' second medal of the championships, whatever. Got a bronze in the 105 kilo clean and jerk, and the bar going to 209. So 209 would give him a 6 kilo advantage over Bahadur Moulay of Iran, and it would give him a 9 kilo advantage over Alexei Lovchev. And then it would be pretty massive down to, what, Peter Naj on 191. That'll be 18 kilos. So already this competition has taken a certain and decisive shape, hasn't it? Between the two Russians and the Iranian.
Russia.
So 209 kilos. And by a kilo. A new personal best and a really useful advantage now.
Yeah, he needed that advantage, take the pressure off going into the clean and jerk. Just put the pressure back on everybody else. Had to work hard on this. Caught it overhead, but bar going forwards. He did the right thing by driving straight out. If he'd sat at the bottom, he'd have probably lost that forwards. Drove straight out, managed to get back underneath it. It's a great sequence of lifts.
So we come to the halfway stage of the competition, and it's Russia 1 and 3, interrupted by Bahadur Moulay of Iran, who's taken the silver medal position. But those three are really well away from the rest. And there you have confirmation. And of course, one thing I didn't anticipate, Michaela, was the demise of Artem Udashin in this competition. I thought he'd be there or thereabouts in the mix, so that's one big opponent out of the way, the Ukrainian.
Yes, he was a big threat, but at the end